So I was given early access to Apocalypse Factory, and while the idea of this game fits my channel perfectly, I've got some mixed feelings about where the game is right now. Hello everybody, I'm Jimmy. Welcome to the channel. Today we're taking a look at Apocalypse Factory. Now the developers provided me with early access to Apocalypse Factory ahead of its release next month in March. Everything you're seeing now is from a pre-release build, and these are my honest first impressions, not really a final review. So the basics. What is Apocalypse Factory? Apocalypse Factory is a factory building and automation game set in a post-apocalyptic world. You gather resources, process materials, build production lines, and overall expand your operation. Very similar to a lot of other automation-focused games that we've played and covered on this channel. Right now, Apocalypse Factory feels like a game with a solid concept, but it just needs a little more time in the oven. It's like the foundation is there, but several key areas seem to be holding it back. What I like about the game, the overall concept of the game works. If you enjoy factory and automation games, Apocalypse Factory should feel very familiar to you. Setting up production chains, routing materials, expanding your base, all this, follows a sort of logic that makes sense to people who are experienced with the genre. There are a lot of moments where you can see the potential in the game, where, if it had a little more polish and refinement, this could turn into something good. I think the biggest issue and the most glaring problem I have with the game is the core gameplay loop. It feels slow and repetitive. Progress feels very grindy, and there just isn't enough variety early on to keep things fresh and make you want to keep playing. I think I spent at least a solid hour just hand mining iron ore and copper ore over and over and over again, just to make the most basic blueprints so that I could unlock things like a conveyor belt or an excavator or a smelter. All this time spent just grinding the basic materials, hand mining it all, took at least an hour, almost an hour and a half before I even had anything automated. I think factory games thrive on that, just one more upgrade, that feeling of, let me just put one more building down, one more factory, one more piece, one more conveyor. And Apocalypse Factory doesn't quite hit that yet. Another glaring issue for me was the tutorial. It does a pretty poor job of explaining the core systems. I mean, you're given a couple of objectives, but not enough context to understand why you're doing something or how different systems interact. I think new players will feel lost early on, which is a big problem for a genre that already has, or that can often have, a steep learning curve. There's no information in the user interface. The controls are a little clunky and slow. The text is too small for the interface. The menus feel a little cluttered. Important information isn't where you expect it to be. Information like, how fast does this conveyor belt move? How quickly can this machine extract ore? How fast does this smelter produce ingots? None of this information seems to be available at all. It seems like basic information that should be available if you want to optimize a smooth factory. You need a smooth interface and tight controls. Right now, the interface and controls actively slow things down for this game. Lastly, I want to touch on the music and audio. The music isn't terrible, but it's pretty bland and repetitive. The music doesn't really add anything to the atmosphere of the game, and after a couple of loops of it playing in the background, it just kind of fades away and you don't even notice it anymore. Some of these sound effects are interesting. You can hear little machines humming along, the electrical pops and crackles from their generators, but overall they don't really fit the atmosphere of the game, and again, they don't add much to the overall experience. Having said all that, I think Apocalypse Factory has promise. With a better user interface, cleaner, clearer tutorial, a little tighter controls, stronger pacing, and more depth to the progression is definitely needed. And with all that, I think there's a good game hiding in there somewhere. None of these issues feel unsolvable. Most of it feels like polish, and a little bit of design iteration could fix most of these issues. And that's encouraging. In its current state, however, I would not recommend buying Apocalypse Factory right now. Instead, add it to your wish list. Keep an eye on it. See how it develops. If the developers continue improving it, this could turn into something worth revisiting later. If you guys play Apocalypse Factory or are interested in it, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you want to see more factory and automation content, you should consider subscribing. With all that being said, my name is Jimmy. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.